Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back. I'm back with another book review. I will be. I know you guys are here for like other stuff too. I will be putting out more marketing related content soon. I've been slacking. I've been slacking on the content. But yeah, it's been like a month. Hair's a little bit rougher. Beard's starting to connect a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That was ugly. Um, but yeah, as promised, I read The Alchemist. I sat down yesterday by the pool for like 3 hours, 4 hours, and just read the whole book. The whole entire book. Um, it is fairly short. It's only like, what is it? It's like can't be more than 200 pages. Yeah, it's like 100. It's 165 pages or so. 168 something. It's 160 something pages. So it's short and it's really captivating. So it's always easy to get lost in a book, in a story that really captivates you. So this was definitely one of those books. Um, what made me want to read this book? Like I've always heard of it. I've heard of it since I was a kid. I mean, it's a fairly old book. Not old, but it's older than me. This is the 25th anniversary edition, so I'm 21. It's older than me. So, but the back of the book says to realize one's destiny is one's only obligation. And that kind of stood out to me because when did I find out about this? Around Christmas time. Two people I know received this book as a present. And I read this back, and then I was like, interesting. So I opened up to the prologue, and it has the story of Narcissus in the prologue, summary of it at least. And if you're not familiar with that story, which I wasn't before this book, the story of Narcissus, which is where the term narcissist came from, is a man named Narcissus went to the lake every day and stood over the lake, kneeled over the lake, and looked at himself to admire his beauty every single day, right? So you can see how that's narcissistic. So, one day, Narcissus fell into the lake and drowned. And the story goes, the lake was weeping, it was crying, it was sad. And so the forest, the god of the forest, this is like god of the forest, god of the lake. The forest comes in, speaks to the lake, and says, it's no wonder that you're weeping for Narcissus because he was beautiful and da 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 da. But the lake is like, was he really beautiful? So the lake didn't realize Narcissus was even there. The beauty of Narcissus. The lake was crying because when Narcissus would lean over his waters and look into the lake could see the beauty of itself in Narcissus's eyes. So both Narcissus and the lake were coming together to look at themselves, and it took each one of them to show the beauty in each other, if that makes sense. So without the lake, Narcissus couldn't see the beauty in himself because the lake served as his mirror. And without Narcissus, the lake couldn't see the beauty in itself because Narcissus served as his mirror. So it was a really interesting intro to the book. And I'd never heard the story of Narcissus before, so that immediately captivated me, and I decided I have to get this book, so might as well add it to the list. But enough about the prologue, we're already 5 minutes in, alright? This one, is a gem. This will be on my bookshelf forever. Might even get a hard copy just so it's more sustainable. But it really. So the story goes, a shepherd boy named Santiago sets out on a quest to find treasure, right? And and to fulfill his dream. And so this takes place in Spain, and he eventually travels to Africa and to Egypt, and he encounters, I already forgot. So he meets a gypsy, a king, a merchant, and an alchemist, right? And these are all people that guide him through his journey to find his treasure, right? And throughout the book, a very common theme is recognizing your dream and following that dream, right? Following it relentlessly, actually. Because there are many points in the book where he would come across these people, or he would have certain experiences, he would have roadblocks, like he got robbed or beat up or got comfortable, made enough money and felt comfortable, or met a woman, or all these things that regularly happen in life were happening. And there were so many points where Santiago said, I'm gonna stop right here, right? Like, I don't need to go to Egypt to find my treasure. This is enough, right? But his dream was to have that fulfilled. And it kind of teaches you, like, it teaches you that, not even it teaches you, it more so reflects on the struggle behind chasing your dream. So, of course, you want this ideal, right? This is somewhere you want to reach. But along the way, you're going to come across so many battles, or sometimes, like, you're going to come across so many battles that are just going to make you feel like, okay, this is enough, right? But sometimes it's hard to, like, recognize exactly, like, gauge when enough really is enough, right? Like, some of these battles aren't struggles. Some of these battles are, I met the woman of my dreams, right? I met my life partner, and I don't want to leave her to go chase my dream and then possibly never see her again, right? That's a struggle that he dealt with, and that's a real life struggle that people deal with. They find something that they feel is worth settling for, and they're afraid to lose it, so they don't leave it, and they put their dreams aside. And that's a battle. That's an internal battle. This book kind of outlines those battles and provides reasons for why you should continue going forward. It talks a lot about listening to your heart, and trusting yourself and trusting your process. It speaks a lot about looking for omens, which omen is generally associated with bad, negative energy, but basically looking for signs that indicate what you should do next, or that indicate what's coming, right? So that you can prepare. So, like, a major point that they made was when you have your mind fixated on something, then the whole universe conspires to make that come true. And that was a quote that they reiterated a lot in the book. So when it comes to looking for omens per se, it's more so just looking for the things around you to reassure you that this is the path that is taking you on, or at least that's how I interpret it. So the exact quote is, "And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it." But there were a couple main points and quotes in the book that I saved, and I'd like to read to you guys because I thought they were just so powerful. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not going to go through the entire book for you, of course. You should definitely go and get it. Because, like, it's just one of those must-have books. So the first one, right? This is about halfway through the book. He left Spain. He's traveling through Africa to get to Egypt, he met this girl that he is absolutely in love with, and he doesn't want to leave the oasis where she lives to go in pursuit of his dreams because he doesn't want to leave her, and he doesn't want to possibly give up that relationship and lose her, right? That's the background to this, right? And she is urging him to go and follow his dreams and encouraging him that that is the right thing to do. And she says, that's why I want you to continue towards your goal. If you have to wait until the war is over, then wait. But if you have to go before then, go on in pursuit of your dream. The dunes are changed by the wind, but the desert never changes. That's the way it will be with our love for each other. And I think that's super powerful. That's amazing. The dunes are changed by the wind, but the desert never changes. I'm sorry, but that's just a beautiful quote. I mean, when you relate it to love, or really anything in life, things are constantly changing. But if you cherish something, then that is the desert. Like, the thing that you cherish, your dream, your relationship, your job, your ambitions, whatever, right? Obstacles will come in the way. Like, you'll have to pivot and change direction. Like, you'll have to do these things, but it's still there. The core of it is still there, right? And I think that was just a beautiful quote. So the second one, right? He's traveling, he's almost to Egypt, he's right there, like a couple of days away. And he's with the alchemist, really wise man, and he feels so conflicted because he left the woman that he loves, and he's going through all of this stuff internally, and he can't figure it out. And he says, my heart is agitated, and explains why. And the alchemist says, well, that's good, your heart is alive, keep listening to what it has to say. Important point. And he says, my heart is a traitor, it doesn't want me to go on. The alchemist says, that makes sense. Naturally, it's afraid that in pursuing your dream, you might lose everything you've won. Let me repeat that. The boy said, my heart is a traitor, it doesn't want me to go on. The alchemist says, that makes sense. Naturally, it's afraid that in pursuing your dream, you might lose everything that you've won. I feel like I go through that every day. I know I'm supposed to be doing things to advance to my goal. I know I want to achieve my dream. Like, I tell myself not to do it, even though I know I should be doing it. And in becoming, in the sense of an entrepreneur and putting all the weight on your shoulders in doing everything you've ever dreamed of, you feel like the more you gain is the more you have to lose, almost. Like, you're afraid of winning because you're afraid of losing what you've won. It doesn't make sense, but it happens. Like, it happens. So the boy asks, well then why should I listen to my heart? And the alchemist replies, because you will never again be able to keep it quiet. Even if you pretend not to have heard what it tells you, it will always be there inside you, repeating to you what you're thinking about life and about the world. And that's true. You know what that is? That's regret. That's when I hear my elders speaking to me, and encouraging me. They're encouraging me out of, not all the time, but some of the time they're encouraging me out of regret that they have in their own life, because their heart and soul told them to take this path, but instead they allowed fear to control their life, and they didn't follow their heart. They didn't trust their heart. They trusted fear instead. And of course, you never forget your dreams. It just kind of passes you by sometimes. Like, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. And that's a huge point that I love that they keep getting into in this book, is trust your heart, listen to your heart, follow your dreams, take that journey, they speak about fulfilling your personal legend, which is everybody's path, which is the path that you align with and that you recognize. Like being completely true to yourself and following it is your personal legend, right? And a page later, the boy says, "My heart is afraid that it will have to suffer." And this is such an important excerpt. The Alchemist replies to that, "Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity." Now, I don't believe in God. I'm not sure what to believe in. But I believe in those words right there. There's no way you can be dissatisfied with your journey if you're following what your heart tells you to do. If you're following your heart's path. That I just can't see any way around that. Like there's no way you're gonna of course you're gonna encounter suffering, but you're gonna encounter suffering anyway, right? You're either gonna encounter suffering while doing some shit that you don't really want to do and living your life by other people's means, or you're going to encounter suffering while doing some shit you want to do or working towards some shit you want to do. So which are you going to choose? Are you going to live under a rock because it's comfortable and warm there? Or are you going to go run out into the fields? You might fall in a ditch or encounter a snake, but like, if your dream is to run in the fields, then run in the fucking fields. And the last point that I think is just golden about this book is the ending. It is the most ironic, hilarious, messed up ending ever. And you guys will have to read the book to get that, because that's a huge spoiler and I would hate to do that. But it's funny and it's good in a way. But yeah, thanks for listening in. Since I kind of read this book really early, it probably won't be the only one for March. I ordered another like super thin book, probably has like 50 pages, if that. It's called As a Man Thinketh. I actually have it right here with me. Yeah, it's called As a Man Thinketh. It's literally super thin. So I'll read this one of these days, probably this upcoming week, and then make a review video about that book, what I think about it, and if there's anything to be learned from it. So yeah, thank you for tuning again. Thank you for tuning in again to another book of the month, The Alchemist. You've probably heard of it. If you haven't, now you have. Go cop it. It's a beautiful book. It's golden. Like, I love it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.